I know too.
All right, we are live, everybody. It is the RP Ginger here, and we are on session 22 of Storm King's Thunder. This session is titled Come Sail Away. Last session, the party. Oh, I did it again. Why do I always do this? I always leave my YouTube on, and then I double hear my voice. Every time, literally, I do that. That's pretty much like the starting point of every session for the last 5 gigs. But anyways, last session, the party finally fleeing the Frost Giant's stronghold, attuned to the Pennant of Vin, and used the punt-sized, or this big giant-sized canoe to speed away from the Frost Giant's stronghold. From there, they were escaped onto the Sea of Moving Ice, through into the Sea of Swords, where they are on the ocean for several days, gave a couple tributes to those who passed away dead. A festival, called the Feast of the Moon, where you offer up tribute stories to Saloon, the goddess of the moon. Sunny started having some weird ass dreams, and that was problematic. Woke up coughing up water, and finally, after a couple of days, the party arrived at a small mining city named Fireshear. When they arrived there, they were met with hostility, for they mistook Harshnag, the friendly Frost Giant that has teamed up with them, as an enemy, and their city had just recently been destroyed by Frost Giants, so they were a little bit hostile when you guys showed up, but nonetheless, you were able to coax them into making them realize that you guys are not their enemies. Octavios healed a bunch of injured people. The party at that point realized that the people of Fireshear were having a problem with their supplies being stolen, so their solution to that was an old Waterdeep Griffin cavalry rider said that she's really good at training griffins and seen some wild ones in the forest. And if she could catch these wild griffins, that she'd be able to fly to Luskin at great speed and talk to the people there and get some supplies shipped over. From there, the party went out, all except Warrendale, and they found their old friends Veltrax and Stuart, a couple of griffins that they met on a cloud giant's moving castle by the name of Zephyros, and they actually came across Zephyros's tower and found it broken, and also found him dead, where they spoke with him through Speak Dead, got some pretty nonsensical answers, some really optimal question asking, and crazy Zephyros was not necessarily the most helpful anyways, even in the best of circumstances, and we left the session with them being ambushed by stone creatures, gargoyles, and even more horrific is the 2 other missing griffins have been turned to stone and looked hostile. But before we get into that, we see the city of Fireshear in shambles. It's a cold day. Winter has swept now. We're in the heart of winter, and even though you've escaped the true north, you're still pretty close to the Icewind Dales itself. So we see what do we see? We see we see Cyric walking around, and he's kind of donned his priest clothes of Torm, and he's going around giving prayers. We see Harshnag busily lifting the wreckage that were brought on by his evil brothers. We see 12 men working next to him, and Harshnag is easily able to do the work of these 12 men by himself, and they're all just kind of moving big wooden pillars and stones and whatnot, and kind of clearing the wreckage and seeing what scraps are left from the giant raid that just happened weeks ago. We see Sir Barrick, the champion of Tyr, busily trying to start a fire underneath this big cast iron pan, and he's kind of cursing for justice to be brought to the cold weather that has been swept in. He's not too impressed that they've left Icewind Dale, yet the weather seems to be none the better, and he's kind of mumbling and grumbling that if Livy was here, this would have been already started by now, and we would have been already good to go, but she's not, so he's kind of mad at himself for not being able to start the fire. But as we look at the sun, which is now past midday, sunlight beginning to wane, we see our good sorcerer buddy Warrendale. And what exactly is Warrendale doing?
I believe when we left it off, I was basically just kind of hanging out with the general populous people back in the caves, taking refuge, eating some snackage, chilling, wondering when the hell the other guys are going to get back and join in the festivities?
So yeah, you're kind of just sitting around waiting, but as you do, you constantly you find yourself looking towards the east, looking in the direction that your friends went out, but more than that, past those trees, in the distant mountains that seem to swallow up the entire landscape. You look at these absolutely enormous stone cliff mountains that just reach up into the sky and disappear, and you feel vulnerable out here as you look, and you know that in every direction, Warren, that everything you see belongs to a particular someone. This particular vale that you find yourself in, the Clouthen Vale, any seasoned traveler would tell you that's what it's called. You just can't help but feel nervous. You know it's a tradition that people who travel these roads or travel anywhere in the Clouthen Vale have a tradition of, for every day they spend in this territory, they leave a gold piece behind just on the road. And as you're looking and looking into these massive mountains, you don't realize it, but you have a gold piece kind of just nervously rolling across your fingers, and you're just kind of tinkering with it. And as you're just lost in thought, thinking of what it means to be here, you find that your bones still hurt when you think of that name, Old Snarl. And suddenly, you feel a presence behind you. And before you can collect yourself, your stomach is already up in your throat, and the unexpected visitor that just disturbs your deep thoughts kind of makes you jump instinctively, and the coin flips out of your hand and lands in the dirt. You turn around, and you see Belladora just grinning from ear to ear. She just looks so impressed with herself right now, and she looks at you and says, "Hey there. Didn't take you for the superstitious type, buddy." She's looking towards the coin at the ground.
No, I just lost in thought, thinking about my times in Waterdeep and other friends I used to have. It's been a long time. No, I'm quite fine. Yes, quite fine.
Oh, well, you seem kind of jumpy. Oh, wait. You're worried about your buddies, aren't you? Oh, that's so cute. You act like they know you, but that's what it is, isn't it? And she just kind of comes up and starts poking at you. You're worried about them. Oh, little Warrendell. That's how sweet is that?
Are you flirting with me?
Of course. You know how I like to roll. She gives you a wink.
Yes, that's better.
Well,
how about these grapes? I had very tasty grapes.
She nods and she says, "I'm sure they'll be fine out there. They'll be back shortly. Don't worry." And you're kind of happy that she's onto that anyways. And then she does mention though that that night that Sunlit woke up coughing water, those marks on their backs. What do you think that means?
Didn't we? Trying to remember what I was able to recall about those.
Yeah, so solid point. I'm actually trying to think of what you guys actually discerned also, since I don't want to give anything away. So do you remember, Corey, before I give more information than I should? Or does anyone remember? I know that you guys didn't figure out much as far as I can remember.
No,
I do not know. But I
Okay, I remember it was the thing that was like in the back of his neck that we pulled out.
Yeah, there was a thing in the back of.
Oh yeah, right. So yeah, there was like a seashell, and there's these kind of marks, like almost like scars going down her back. And yeah, I remember now that you guys did put together that the seashell was very similar to what Neil Ron had growing on his body.
Right.
Kind of like barnacles.
Yeah, barnacles for sure.
Kind of like a barnacle. And that she didn't have, well, because she didn't have the talisman any longer, she didn't feel as if that she had the aversion to water any longer.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you remember that She says it's kind of weird, don't you think? You think that mage guy did something to her?
That is my first impression. Some sort of what's they call a virus or infection of some sort, perhaps. He was a nasty fellow, anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
Perhaps the cat caught something from him.
She laughs. You know what?
Hopefully, it doesn't get on the rest of us. I don't like to be all scaly and barnacle-y.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. I agree. You know what's kind of weirding me out though? I just thought about it yesterday. You remember those bandits that tried to rob Livy or whatever in Bryn Shanders?
Yes.
Didn't they have like weird marks all over them too before they died? Now that I think about it, they kind of look similar to what she had. Do you think that's just coincidence, or am I overthinking things?
Perhaps some sort of plague in this area. To be quite honest, I know very little about the north up here. I like to stay to the south, where it's much warmer and the women wear less clothes. But
she says, "Yeah, you would like that if I wore less clothes, wouldn't you?"
No, certainly.
You perv. But yeah, when she mentions Bryn Shanders and the bandits, I don't remember how close you were to that, but I remember I think you guys all kind of like seen them, and now that she mentions it, you do kind of like think back to like those marks they had around their necks, and there was like these basically like these kind of like circles or whatnot completely covered around their necks and wrapping down their back. And now that you think about it, it is very similar to what has marked Sunlit. And you remember that these guys just died in the middle of the night, and that's all that they had around them is these marks. One minute they were looking for Octavios and like trying to kill Livy because she wouldn't give them the answers. And then when you guys came to question them in the morning, they were just dead in their jail cells. Do
we recognize those from anything from like way back in the second session with those bandits that came into that little town?
There was no connection put because unfortunately, you guys never really got to explore that storyline because the giants came and then you guys just got completely sidetracked. Right. So you never really made any connections to who those bandits were. You just know that they were looking for Octavios, and before you got to question them, they died in their jail cells and had these weird marks all over their necks, like they were strangled by something. And then the giant attack happened and completely distracted you guys.
Yeah.
I'm probably just overthinking.
Yeah, we should keep our eyes out, no less.
Yeah. Maybe we should like stay our distance. I don't want to catch that. It looks really gross.
You should probably let me check your body over, make sure you don't have anything, growing on you anywhere.
she laughs. You wish.
Yeah, it was worth a shot.
Yeah. I give you at least 2 brownie points for sure. She gives you a wink and get to work, you bum. And then these people, you stayed back to help, so do something. Make yourself useful.
I am. I'm distracting these people.
Quit worrying about your friends. And then she's like, I'm sure they're fine. What trouble could they possibly get into? And at that point, we pan over many miles. And actually, we'll say we'll say that also she says that what trouble they can get into. You look in the distance and you see a griffin flying towards you, but it's one solo griffin. And she's like, oh, that must be them there. Wait, where's the? I only see Dashara. I'm sure they're fine though. And then we pan over, and Livy, you just finished talking to the deceased and bodiless Zephyros, the cloud giant that you guys met many days ago, who set you on this voyage. And he kind of drifts back into his astral plane that he came from, or the ethereal plane, and you hear the grinding of stone. And as you look behind you, you see that what you didn't see before, or that you don't know where they came from, are these 4 stone gargoyles, and they're pretty large, like bigger than you, large in size. And then as you're looking, they start to move towards you. They open up their mouths like they're gonna roar, but for some reason there's just no sound that is made. And then even more troubling is you look and you also see that there's 2 stone griffins that are also animating to life, and just you pretty much recognize very quickly that these are the 2 other griffins that Zephyros had. Something obviously very unfortunate happens to them, and they all kind of like start moving and springing into action. You guys all instantly realize that they're hostile, and we'll just roll initiative. And unfortunately, Warren, you're a bit out. So whopping 4 on the initiative. I think is Corey away or here? Maybe is he AFK.
Olivia is clearly awestruck by these moving stones.
Yep. And we're short a member today, so I guess I will be playing Octavius. So let me see if I can remember how to roll initiative. Here we go.
Well,
A whopping
ready for action.
15. All right. Sunlit, you are the most ready for action, but for some reason I forgot to roll my initiative on these guys. That was really dumb. Give me a second here. We will roll. All right. Those guys there. And then do that twice. And last but not least.
Now, if I remember correctly, the the Griffins have been healed. Right?
Yeah, Veltrax and Stuart. Was it Stuart? Yeah, it was Stuart.
Yeah, Stuart.
Stuart was pretty all right, and Veltrax was healed a bit, but he's still a little bit injured. Definitely not up to full health, I don't think. I at least don't have him. Like I have him in the initiative, and he's not at full health.
Okay.
Although pretty good. Like he's not like he definitely got some substantial healing. So let me.
Yeah. So all right. So what do I see before me? I'm sorry. I mean, I know that I kind of listened to the end, but it does get kind of confusing.
Yeah, no worries. So you're in this snowy forest with your back a mountain that kind of reaches up, and against the mountain is the collapsed giant tower. Griffin or Veltrax and Stuart, very close to you, are very uncomfortably starting to furl their feathers and look anxious and obviously nervous. And as you do turn around, kind of just like you're face palming, thinking how Libby just completely blew the Speak with Dead. And then you're face palming and you realize that they start to get uncomfortable. And as you turn around, you see that suddenly, just almost like they appeared out of nowhere, it's weird that these giant stone creatures were able to sneak upon you, are 4 gargoyles. And at first you just mistake them for like just stone pieces, but then you quickly see that they're starting to move. And then so 4 griffins basically within the movement from you, and then kind of flanking you, just basically cutting off any chance that you have to like straight up run, is a griffin on each side. So we'll say a griffin south and a griffin north, and then your west is the 4 gargoyles, and then east, which is your back, is the mountain, which is just super high.
And is how large are these gargoyles?
These gargoyles are actually large in size. So
Large in size.
Yeah, so in terms of meta, they are bigger than you. Probably about
they're bigger than me.
Probably
which is not
8.
easy all the time. All right, yeah. So she goes, Olivia. We're not alone, if you didn't notice.
As Olivia's just kind of in this like daze as she's killing.
Okay, coming at, there's 2, I think the other 2 griffins, and I don't know what those things are, but they're also
petrified. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And I just I'm going not towards that griffin because we saw what they did to. Okay, and she just run, and I run straight towards one of the gargoyles.
All right, run it up.
And I do my thing. So yeah, I'm going to run and going to do the whip. We're going to whip it good.
Watch you.
For my first attack. That's not going to do it.
Crackle out your comma whip. It comes and just kind of temporarily wraps around the gargoyle's right hand. It opens up its mouth like it's going to roar again, but again, just no sound these creatures make. It's just kind of almost offsetting. And then it just rips it back, and then the chain kind of comes flying off. He almost tears it out of your hand. What do you do for your second attack?
Yeah, she's gotten kind of good at it. She practices quite often with it. So she just kind of brings it back to herself. and it has reach, right? So I can do this from 10 feet.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, that's not gonna work. So I'm gonna use a key point and do Future Flurry, and I'm gonna laser beam twice. Well, Sunbolt.
All right. Doof, doof. Shoot off 2 radiant beams of light. Let's see how they go. Oof, bad start. Hits into the creature, not even seeming to like bother it in any way, shape, or form. Oh, you're off to some spicy rolls there, my friend.
This is good. I've rolled 6 or less. Yay!
Okay, take it all up so I can roll, above a 17.
Yeah, let's do it because you're gonna do that. Because your weapon never misses.
Of course.
All right. So yeah, you
and she. Okay. How far do I have to move to get there?
I'll say that you moved 20 feet so far.
Okay, I'm not within range of anything, so I'm gonna move kind of 20 feet back so that we but not towards my friends.
Yeah.
I don't want to group up. I don't think that sounds like a very good idea. And maybe trying to taunt that one maybe away a little bit.
Okay.
But also not towards the griffin that she is more afraid of than these. Because she doesn't know what they do.
Gotcha. All right. Next up is Stuart, who is a friendly griffin, right? And it obviously looks quite upset, and it's gonna kind of glump over to one of the stone griffins and just try to like nuzzle up against it like it's confused. To which the griffin just the stone griffin with no recognition or like really no kind of animalistic traits just instinctually attacks at it. Luckily, Stuart, kind of on guard, jumps back and just doesn't seem to understand it. Lets out like a loud kind of cawing sound or whatever noise a griffin would make, and confused looks at one of the stone griffins, not really sure what to do. At this point, the 4 gargoyles are up. The one that you were taunting flies in on you, Sunlit, and it's going to hit you for... Where's my gargoyles? You take... I'll just drop it on your character sheet so you don't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
It basically goes into a flurry, a claw attack. You jump back as it kind of like flies in. You realize that these creatures have wings, and these heavy stone creatures, it lands in front of you, and just a big poof of snow kind of comes out from its weight. You're surprised that such a heavy creature can move so quickly, and you're even more surprised as a claw comes forth. You just barely jump back, and then finally it's kind of jumps forth with its big fangs and chomps onto your arm, hitting you for 8 damage. The other 3 gargoyles, one's going to go for Livy. And Livy, same deal for you. You actually take a hit as you take... Oof, I'm killing it on damage. Max damage again. Another 8 damage to you, Livy, as it comes across, scraping you with its claws. The third one flies in and grabs onto Zephyros's head, and then just woof, shoots up into the air, skyrocketing away.
I think I know what it's planning to do.
And then the 4th and final one, it goes to flank you, Sunlit, but Veltrek steps in the way defensively, and it's going to claw into him, and it misses and hits Veltrex. It lets out a shriek of pain, already kind of injured your griffin friend, but yet he's loyal to you already, even though it's been weeks or months since you've seen him. He's ready to stand beside you and takes another strike. Next up is, we will say, Octavios. We decide that you guys are just going to let Octavios kind of action, so you can decide whether you want Octavios to do an attack or a heal, and just call upon that each round. Is everyone good with that, or do you want me to actually control him?
No, cool.
Okay, you're cool with that? So then next up would actually be Veltrax, and he is going to try to swipe back at the gargoyles. He makes 2 beak attacks, missing, and missing again. The gargoyle just kind of, he pecks into it, but he's not able to do any damage. And that puts up the stone griffins. Jesus. And one is going to go for Stuart, and the other one is going to charge in and attack Veltrax. They just seem angered by the fact that these other griffins, these flesh and blood griffins are here, and it seems to just anger them for some reason. Stuart gets hit raked across by claws, and Veltrax also is able. Actually, he's able to dodge, so that puts Livy up now, and the fray has just instantly kind of erupted. It was a serene, kind of quiet, snowy moment. You just seen your friend Zephyros, and then before you know it, absolute chaos. Gargoyles flying around, clawing into you, stone griffins. It's just absolute anarchy.
Alrighty, so I think for Livy, she's certainly after a moment of just like, holy whoa. Out comes the awesome crossbow, and she is going to aim it Maiden's Garden towards, let's say, which sound like one of the stone griffins was near Sunny.
Yep. So one of the stone griffins is attacking Veltrax, who is near Sunny, and he also has 2 gargoyles kind of on him.
Okay, yeah, she we'll go for one of the gargoyles actually.
Yep, go ahead.
Please work. Woo, yay, 22. Would you look at that? And
Don't worry, I got all those crappy rolls out of the way.
we're going thank you. We're going to do it twice because, you know, that was a 13, so 21. Hang on, Mary. Whoa. Let's like actually do the correct damage die. So there's 12 and there's 3 plus 5 for 8. So 20 points piercing.
All right, very impressive.
And I think she would go for lightning for the element.
Cool. So yeah, you just load up the crossbow, summoning in some lightning arrows. You leash it, and it just kind of hits into the creature, sinking into its stone, breaking away a small chunk, and then following up with another one, and then it's just electrocuted. All the damage obviously going through, chunks of the creature falling off. Anything else on your turn?
Yes, she would call out to Octavius and be like, dude, go help Beltrix.
Yeah,
All right.
Beltrax.
He's on his way, and he'll go, and you're calling out for him to heal him?
No, well, unless he looks bloody, no, she would be more on the attack.
All right, he will do that then. And he'll charge forth, and what does Octavius do? He has a warhammer, so he'll swing at the gargoyle, and he rolls a nat 1 as the hammer just kind of falls out of his hand. He's just like, oh, this must be a mistake, and kind of bends over, picks it up. I'll do better next time, Livy. I don't know why Octavius is dumb all of a sudden. I'm sorry, Dan. And oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that Bjornhilda, the barbarian, has come with you guys too. So
Oh, absolutely, she has.
yeah,
She follows me wherever I go.
yeah. So she has the ability to add damage, I believe, is what her thing is. So remember that for next round. As she charges in beside you, Sunlit, and says that she does not trust these giant flying birds, but she likes these stone ones even less, and tell her what to do. That brings us back to the top of the initiative. So
Octavius is back up.
yeah. Sunlit.
Yeah, that's me.
2 gargoyles are on you. One's fighting Veltrax, and there's also a stone griffin in your vicinity, also attacking Veltrax.
Okay. Very frustrated with the fact that I don't know why I can't hit anything. She kind of looks about and looks at the stone griffin that I'm sorry, did Livy hit one of the ones that's on me?
Yeah, I believe she said that.
Okay. I am going to use that ability, I think. I got a couple new things at 7. I want to make sure I just do this right. So, yeah, so that's gonna be that. Okay, so I am going to use Searing Arc Strike.
Sounds impressive.
Yes, that is one of the other Sun Soul abilities. I have to use 2 key points to activate it, and it's basically just Burning Hands.
Yep.
But I can also use additional key points up to 2 extra, so I could spend 4 on it, and it would make I can up the level. So I want to make sure I do this right, and I don't know how to use your silly spell book and that thing, so I'm just gonna go to Rimmer real quick and make sure I do it correctly.
So that's a 15-foot cone, though, is what I'm thinking of, what I'm having to deal with, right?
I just want to make sure I do that right. It's Burning Hands level 2. That's level 1 spell, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It is range of cells 15-foot cone. So is there a way that I can turn to the a direction and hit?
I'll say that you can easily get a griffin, a stone griffin, and a gargoyle in that.
Can I get the one that she already hit?
Yep.
Okay, so that's exactly what she wants to do. She kind of turns her body some, and I'm going to burn a whole bunch of points. So I'm going to burn 4 points, and it's going to be a level 3 spell. So it'll be, they need to make dexterity saving throws.
Yep.
That against, trying to know what that is.
Dexterity. Go ahead and roll your damage. I already got it done.
Okay. It's going to be. How can I? Is there a way for me to select more D6s than just one?
Yeah, pick one up and hold it, and then right click with the mouse, and you'll right click in the dice every time you click.
Isn't that pretty cool?
Mm-hmm. Handy dandy. 18 damage. Very nice, sir. All right. Radiant energy just arcs from your hand with a fury and absolute to it, just completely kind of covering the area with light. This searing strike almost completely blows away one of the gargoyles, but as the light kind of dissipates, it's almost maybe a little bit discomforting to see that both enemies still stand even after those powerful strikes. Mm-hmm. Anything else on your turn?
Sorry, just using my key points. And there be AoE. I mean, attack of opportunities on me if I moved, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think that I have evasion. Oh, no, I have evasion, but that doesn't make it so that I can move and I get hit. So no. She is going to not move out of the range of anything, but she is going to move in front of Veltrex without moving out of range.
Gotcha. All right. Next up is the Gargoyle Assault. So let's go for it. Here we go on you, Sunlit. The original one that was attacking you. Both attacks actually miss as you now step in front of Veltrex and you realize that game on. You step into your defensive stance and quickly start parrying strike after strike. Another gargoyle comes in on you, this time attacking again, and now my rolls start to go to shit, but one gets through as being flanked on both sides, and even the griffin, now that you've imposed yourself in between everybody, a claw attack gets across your back. You kind of yell out in pain as 5 damage is done to you. I didn't add that to your character sheet. Livy, there's one on you, and as you kind of like ducking by, you shoot across, obviously not wanting to shoot at the gargoyle that's right in front of you, right? So you hit the one, electrocute, and then the one that is on you is going into another offensive round, this time hitting and missing. So Livy, you get another 5 damage. The other griffin gargoyle, that grabbed Zephyros's head is now just super high in the sky, and he has moved 120 feet up into the sky. And that marks all the gargoyles, I believe. So that would put up the griffins. And Stuart, for the record, did attack back at the griffin that was attacking him, but missed. And Veltrex comes in, and let's see if he has any luck making his attacks. Hits and chomps off the head of the one gargoyle that you already pretty badly damaged.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sunlit would definitely react to him, and trying to build trust more.
All right. And as you react to him, the griffin that is engaged with you lets out this horrifying shrieking noise. And this is the first time these creatures have made a noise. And give me a a Constitution saving throw, Sunlit.
Man, why couldn't I like that D word you were gonna say before?
Yeah. I was just
because she now has evasion.
Constitution.
Because she now has evasion, so I can half and half. Oh, that's whatever. 19.
Nice. Yeah, you are able to just hold yourself, and you feel your bones starting to stiffen a bit, but you shake it off, not willing to go down. But as you look over, Veltrax has just the stone completely encased around him, almost as if he's been turned completely to stone. As that has happened, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
That was its attack, and the other one is engaged with Stuart. It is going to make an attack and miss. Livy, you're now up.
Okie dokie. Yeah, whatever to the gargoyle attacking her in front. It's more noble to go help her friends, and she's going once more go and aim her sights on the gargoyle she was already shooting at.
AKA Livy doesn't want disadvantage.
Yeah, that too.
Just bugging you.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. I think that's the first miss ever.
Yeah, that's the first miss ever with Maiden's Garden.
But she makes a recovery as clearly the one that's kind of in her face. She's like, dodge, 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 tries to get off a shot, misses, and it's like, rolls out just a little, like, not like a movement that would cause attack bar 2, but definitely does a better duck and roll and is able to set her sights and with that 20 hit much more clearly with another bolt of lightning. And let's actually get that damage going, Mary. That was a 5. There, registered. Cool. So 10. And once more we call it Octavius, just like, you can do it. Just keep going. Don't give up. Hit again. Let's take him down.
He does this time and does a total of 8 damage. Hey, thank you, Livy, for the support. Your kind words have encouraged me to strike down this foul beast. And you're kind of dodging back and forth, and just like the gargoyle is just trying to do everything in its power to attack you. And you're just like, excuse me, one moment, please. I'm trying to deal with this over there. Shoot off a bow. It hits the creature. Next up is back to the top of the initiative. Sunlit. 2 gargoyles on you and 1 stone griffin, and the other gargoyle number 3 is just completely gone, flown in the air.
And Veltrax looks like the other stone griffin now.
Yeah, he. I don't know why I keep saying she. He is encased in stone and not moving.
Not moving. Okay. How bad does that stone griffin look? Does it look like it's starting to crumble at all or anything like the other one did?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. But it's engaged with me.
Yep.
Yeah, she would absolutely react to that, and I'm gonna just leap directly towards that stone griffin, hoping in her mind that if she destroys that, maybe Veltrax will come back to life.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm gonna probably flurry. I may just maybe we'll see.
30% chance of flurries.
Yeah, there's a 33.3333 chance that I'm gonna do that. So here we go with this. Too bad these things aren't giants, because how you like that?
A crit.
Yes, I like that lots.
Do you even crit?
Shout out to Bjorn and be like, give me extra damage.
Yeah, you must well roll
now, does she give extra damage?
Yep, she adds a d12 to your roll.
Okay, so I'll roll a d12. Does that get doubled well?
I probably should say no, just because you chose to do it afterwards, but I'll say that if you're using it before. then
yeah. No, that's fine.
Yep.
Just the one. It was an 11, so I don't really mind.
Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so
damn good.
your very first attack with the crit and Bjornhilda helping you is 24 damage. Very nice.
Mhm.
The griffin that you're punching into now and in anger is not looking too hot now, definitely.
Yeah, and then very feeling very good, of the strike that she put onto it, with the comet itself. She's going to whip around and use the blunt end of the weight and swing again. I'm not going to use flurry of blows. I'm just going to do an offhand.
Okay.
18 still hits, right?
Yep.
All right. Now she only did that once per round, right?
What? Sorry, the offhand?
No, Brunhilde.
Yeah, once per round. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I figured so. Oh yeah, so 9 more.
Yeah, you take it. You take the griffin down.
Okay, and then she kind of in the rubble kind of turns around and looks up to Veltrex, and it's still stone. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And she says something in a language that none of you understand, because in her native language that she doesn't speak very much since she's been here. But she basically says something in the effect of, be still, my friend. We will help you, or something like that.
Yep. All right.
And braces. It doesn't do anything, but stylistically braces for the attacks that are definitely coming.
Yeah, definitely. So, as you say that, though, you're surprised to see that the two, or I guess one gargoyle on you now, right? Because, yeah, one's on Livy, one's on you, one's destroyed, and one's flying away. The one that's on you now, it's almost as if it's like kind of robotically in fight mode, just like attacking you instinctively, clawing, trying to bite. You're deking out of the way, doing everything you can, parrying, doing attacks. And then suddenly it's like its attention just completely shifts. It stops what it's doing. Its head jerks the other way towards the tower, jerks back towards you, and then thrusts its wings and starts to fly away. It does not disengage, so you get an opportunity attack. It seems like it just has something very important to do instead.
I'll take that.
That's not.
Wait, is that Livy or is that me?
That's on you, Corey. Sorry, or Sunlit.
He could have the 19.
Yeah. Nope. All the nope. Thanks for stealing my roll.
You missed. It flies over into the tower, the broken tower that's kind of laying on the ground, and it just lands and like breaks through a section of the unbroken tower. And then momentarily kind of pass, you're like, what the fuck is this thing doing? It returns, and in its hand, it has this giant blue glowing orb. And you all instantly kind of recognize it as the navigation orb, the arcane, powerful object that Zephyros had to control and keep his castle floating. And you remember looking at it and it just kind of being this beautiful blue, serene, calm, like almost like calm water just flowing in it. As this gargoyle holds it, it now looks like a chaotic, just tsunami-like storm. And you see that it's all kind of cracked and energy almost seems to be billowing out of it. At which point it hucks it onto the ground towards you guys. It kind of rolls across the snow, and as each time it hits the ground, it cracks a little bit more, and you see more energy starting to pour out of it.
It's a bomb.
The next one that's up is that's the end of that guy's turn. He starts to fly up even more, finishing the rest of his movement. They can fly 60 feet. The other one, Livy, that's fighting you, does not run away and instead tries to use its pinning attack. So this like 1-ton gargoyle is literally going to try to sit on you. So it's gonna make an attack. Its first attack missing. It just kind of like jumps up in the air and just boom slams. You roll out of the way, thinking that you would have been if you would have been caught under that, it would have probably hurt a bit. But then as you're thinking that, it does it again and rolls a natural 20.
My shield won't even be able to help with that.
No. And this basically it pins you on the ground. So it's basically like a grapple check, only instead it's a kind of special attack that you don't get to contest. It just knocks you down, and now you're gonna have to escape. And since it crit, you take 9 damage as just this huge creature lands on you, and you're pinned in the snow, and you're looking, and this orb seems to be like rolling closer and closer to you, and you're just looking at it, energy kind of billowing, and like, this probably isn't a good thing. I should get out from this thing, but it's so damn heavy. And that's the end of the gargoyle's turn. As the other one, the one that grabs Zephyros's head, you have no clue where it went.
As I'm sitting there, suddenly pinned and wondering about my life, I remember the griffin that took off with Zephyros's stone head. She looks to the sky. Please tell me it's not going to drop upon her.
That would be beautifully cruel if I did, but as you look out, you don't see any Zephyros head coming down on you. Next up, we have
Stuart, right?
Yep, Stuart, Veltrex, and the other griffin. So really quickly, while I'm dealing with that sideline stuff, Livy, why don't you take your turn, keeping in mind that you're basically restraint. So unless you have some pretty cool shenanigans,
when you say restraint, as in, does she still have use of her arms and hands?
I'm gonna say that roll me a dex check to see if you have your arms or not. And this happened before your turn. I'll give you a chance that you might still have your arms.
I'm
assuming that wasn't good. I don't see the roll, but by the sounds of your voice, it doesn't sound like you rolled very high.
Looks like a 5, if I'm correct. But I didn't even do the same. But 5 plus 6 is 11.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, both your arms are completely pinned. Just your head's kind of peeking out, and then your legs on one end.
Looking.
So that was your check to break the grapple, I'm assuming, right?
No, that was
wait. V stands for
verbal.
Verbal. Yes. Misty step.
Perfect. You do have it. That's really convenient. Yeah. So yeah, you're just like, what can I do to get out of here? And then, oh yeah, I know magic. And arcane power. Poof, just turn to mist.
Like Livy for that brief. I'm just so used to
that is so Livy right there.
No. Oh. She stands up. She will actually turn her attention to this creature now and just kind of look at it with a "I will get you next round."
Yeah.
Because yeah, there we go.
All right.
And Flavios, heal me.
Yeah, and that was only a bonus action. So, because you checked to see if your hands are free. So yeah. You're right. Octavius, heal me. Okay. Yes, Livy, I'm on my way. Here comes the heal right now. And he heals you for 8 healing.
Hey,
heals.
That's good. That's better.
8 healing heals. All right, on to you. Now, to quickly tell you what happened to the Griffin Wars, Stuart engaged with Stone Smoochies. Terrible battle that will be spoken of for many years to come. He was able to get a strike across, but the Stone Griffin was able to strike even more devastatingly, now bloodying Stuart. Veltrax, still, to no one's surprise, is completely stoned. He's wrecked out of his mind. And that brings us to the top. What's that?
I just laughed. That was funny.
That brings us to the top of the initiative. But before you get to go, Sunlit, you're ready to start doing some kung fu and punching people and sending off ki blasts. You look and you just hear this loud humming noise, and it's growing and growing and growing, and it distracts you from combat. And you look and you see the navigation orb explode. Blue energy just completely fills everything that you know. It just pierces through you. You feel raw energy coming through your body, past you, and everybody give me a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom? That sounds great. Thanks for the opportunity.
Everyone's good at wisdom, right?
Why wouldn't we be?
Octavio says he passed.
I'm terrible at it right this minute.
Saving throw 14 should hopefully be enough.
All right. If you rolled lower than a 15, roll me a D10 really quick.
Come on. Roll a D10.
Yep.
3.
9.
Perfect.
Why did my 9 not show up?
Where are you putting your roll in that dice tower?
I'm putting it in the chat. And there's a 9 again.
There it is.
You rolled a 9 again.
Yeah.
All right. Basically, as this thing explodes, wild magic just surges in the entire area. Livy,
Snaps.
you guys actually got pretty lucky. Livy, you get 10 temporary hit points as you're just renewed with strength.
Oh. Whoa.
Sunlit, on the other hand, you this energy is piercing through you, and then suddenly you feel a weightlessness to you, and then suddenly you feel the air rushing around you. The energy fades, and you look, and you're 60 feet in the air, free falling. That's where your turn begins.
Awesome. I'm not. You'd think that would be kind of a thing that she'd be weirded out by, but I have an ability called Slow Fall that I take. Yeah, I reduce any damage by 5 times my blunt level. So if and when I do hit the ground, it'll be, what are we at, 7? So 35 points less of whatever I may take. So
yeah, you fall now unless you can stop it since it's your turn. So you take.
And that's a reaction.
Yeah, so you reactionary. You can take up to 35 off.
Mm-hmm.
Then you take 0 damage. 26 was what happened.
Okay. Yeah. So you see her kind of freak out for a second, but then she just kind of starts falling, and and like a cat, just kind of lands on all fours. Surprised that she didn't get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Looks up, and maybe it's because there's a whole bunch of snow. You know what I mean? So forth, and looks up.
What?
And the only really engageable target is the one that's pinning my friend, right?
Not anymore, but was.
Well, yeah, that was. Okay, yeah.
And there's the other stone griffin. But
how far away is that?
Definitely within your movement. You move around like crazy. But as you look where the stone griffin was standing, you now see a sheep just standing there in the snow, looking quite confused.
A sheep.
A sheep?
Yep. You see that Stuart's feathers are actually just now flower petals instead of feathers. He's just completely decked out in all these different color flowers. And he's also like looking at himself quite confused.
I hope that's temporary. But the sheep looks like it's going to be very easy to hurt.
Yeah.
But it used to be the griffin.
Well, I mean, there was once a griffin there, so maybe a sheep just
she doesn't give a shit about that. She's going. I'm running directly towards that thing, and I'm gonna eviscerate this sheep and not feel bad about it.
Okay.
Eviscerate.
Ooh, I like that word, huh? Hopefully, at least 16. I'm assuming this sheep doesn't have very good DC.
You punched the shit out of that.
AC, sorry. Yeah. I can roll the damage, but I'm sure I will destroy it. 10 damage. And do I just cut it in half?
You just punch into it, but as you do, it like explodes into fleece. But as you do like explode and just like fleece kind of poof, pops, suddenly the creature takes its normal form on. You just basically killed the polymorphed creature, which then means it just transforms back into its regular form. So then standing in front of you is a stone griffin now that looks even more filled with rage.
Okay. I am going to use flurry of blows, and we're going to keep going at this thing. It's a 20, and I'll just do here, so it doesn't screw up. I do the damage. Oh, yay, a whole 6 damage. Thanks.
Yep. Slap it.
Oh, and that's a natural.
Nice.
Fuck.
Nice little.
All right, I'm gonna use I'm not because I didn't say before. I'm using Brunhilde on this one, so I'm gonna roll her 12.
Yep.
Pretty good. 3's not great.
Yep.
And then it should give me. Ooh, look at that though.
Nice.
Take that, stupid gargoyle.
Yeah. So you punch it out into a sheep, and there's a moment where you're just like, "This is inconvenient," but then you just like really like, "All right, this is enough." You punch it again, and then with a massive just attack, turn it into rubble.
Yeah. And
Karate
I'm
chop it
standing
in
on
half.
top of the rocks, when I'm done, and I look up to the gargoyle that is above me at this point, and I just start lighting my hands, with radiant energy, waiting for it to completion.
Is that the one that oh wait, that's the one that was on Livy, right?
Yeah, that's the one. It should be the one that threw the thing at us, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got what you're saying.
And kind of taunting it, what I mean, to whatever.
Gotcha. As you ready for it to attack, it just like looks, and as you do, you see that the crystal orb that exploded, you look over and there's still just remnants of raw arcane energy from that spot. It's almost as if like a bomb went off, and you see just like streaks of like black and like soot and explosions, but in the center of it is just this ball of glowing energy that's shooting off arcs of like magic everywhere. The gargoyle, obviously pleased with what it did, just uses its now that it's on its turn, uses its movement to fly up and away. The other one that's left, that one.
That one's been bugging out on us the whole time, right? This one's been flying away from us.
No, the one that sat on Livy was not bugging out, but it is gonna it's gonna peace out also, leaving you guys to deal with the magic. And that's it. So Livy, before another surge of wild magic goes off, is there anything you want to do on your turn? You see Stuart, which now has flowers for feathers. Veltrex is stone, and Octavius made his save, so nothing happened to him.
Lucky. The griffin with petal flowers. Sorry,
Stuart.
Stuart. There we go. I was gonna say Steve. I'm like, it's not Steve, but I can't remember. Is Stuart on our side or not?
Yeah,
Stuart. Yeah, he sometimes goes by Steve.
You said yes. So is that yes to
he's
on our side?
He is our friend.
Yeah,
he's our friend.
Cool. I don't. That there's no other threats.
No other threats besides a massive ball of wild magic.
Of magic that wants to do shitty things to us.
That lets me roll on a chart of goodness every time.
Yeah, a chart of great goodness. Goodness. It's like she could do another misty step. She could do a rope trick, but I don't know if that would like a rope trick. Could I put the ball up into it?
Rope trick. Let's look it up real quick. I'm honestly not super familiar with that.
Catch a length of rope that is up to 60 feet long. One end of the rope then rises to the air until the whole rope hangs perpendicular to the ground. At the upper end of the rope, an invisible entrance opens and extra dimensional space that lasts until class.
So yeah, you could if you want, go up to the pure raw arcane energy and try to shove it into an extra dimensional space. I mean, what could possibly go wrong with that?
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong with that?
You could also just use the spell as normally intended and just climb up it yourself and go into this extra dimensional space.
Yeah. I think she's like, okay, y'all, as she's rope, starting to do whatever gestures and things that she needs to do. You should all come join me. And ta-da! There's the rope. She's going up, and we'll see what happens.
Livy like snake chimes a rope up into like straight into the sky, and then just starts climbing up it and disappears. You guys should all come with me. And then she's at the end of the initiative. She's the last person to go. So
Miriam, what are you doing to us?
Wisdom saving throw again as another powerful surge of magical energy goes off. Sunlit. I'm gonna have so much fun if you guys roll bad enough on this. Oh,
Wisdom, right?
yep.
I still don't want to do this. It's not bad.
You made the save.
I made the save 15 or better, right?
You made the save last round. This energy blast actually even more powerful. Was a DC of 20.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh
you guys really wanted to get out of the way. And so
the
did
D10 again?
Yeah, and this time Octavius failed also. Let's see what happens to him.
I rolled a 3 again. Is that what I rolled last time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So yeah, you that's good for you, I guess.
You're gonna fall again.
You are teleported 60 feet.
I would
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. This time I would like to try to angle my landing so I land over near Veltrix.
Yeah. So good for you. You go through that again, and I'm pretty sure there's no way I can roll high enough damage to get through your
because I
threshold.
ignore 35. So.
And you come fluttering down. This time the energy is finally dissipated. It only had 2 blasts in it.
Okay.
You look around to see Livy's gone to the extra dimensional space. Veltrax is still just stone. And then, funnily enough, you look around for Octavius, and you see a sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah. she just kind of looks and understands that what happened last time, and that I'll take care of Octavius in a second. And she goes over, and we're out of initiative in theory, right?
Yep.
Okay. So she goes over to where Veltrix is, and she touches her friend because she befriended him when they were in the castle.
Yep.
And he feels like just straight stone.
Give me a investigation if you want. And then what I'm going to say is that you guys kind of just like sit down and collect yourselves after like a while ago. That was just kind of like a hectic thing. So you're just like, all right, let's sit down.
That's like, oh, sit down.
And sorry, but finally, Warrendale, you show up. Sorry you had to miss that whole combat, but you guys were like, hours away. So
that's cool enough.
So yeah, you arrive with Darshar, who arrived at the camp and is like, "Holy shit, your friends are in trouble."
Of course they are. Always in trouble without me.
You ride back, and the trouble that you see is that they've you see a stone griffin that Sunlit is looking at, and obviously you put together that it's probably Veltrax. And you see Stuart. You see the broken down castle that was Zephyros, and obviously like a sign of like a big explosion or whatnot. And the area still feels like very not necessarily warm, but just almost like electric. To like a sorcerer like you, someone who's in tune with magic, you can just feel like the raw energy is still here, and like it's probably teared at the fabric of like this material plane. So like it's just almost like there's like it's like a lightness or like a very thin piece of cloth or something between the planes right now, and you feel that it's definitely been tested, I guess.
Oh, and you see a sheep.
And you see a sheep. Yeah, you see a sheep. No Octavius. Yeah. So just typical.
Too bad the sheep isn't wearing his armor. And who was the lady that I was with? What's her name?
Deshara Kaldabar. She was a dwarf girl, and she was a captain of the Griffin Cavalry of Waterdeep. She rode in on her Griffin Screecher and has brought you probably maybe, I don't know if you like riding on Griffins or not, but she rode pretty aggressively.
I just imagine I'm hanging on for dear life to her and her Griffin as we see this pulse of magical energy go off in the distance, arrive in time to see all of that.
Absolutely.
Is Livy's not there though, right?
Livy,
I mean, she's in her little portal.
Like depending on how soon after.
Okay.
It lasts for an hour. So I'm gonna say that it took Warrendale like an hour to come here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Back down, whatnot.
Yeah.
See, as soon as we land, I'd be running over to, figure out what the hell's going on and why you couldn't handle this on your own. It was just a simple mission. Just, is eating grapes.
And with your investigation, Sunlit, you can faintly hear a heartbeat.
And it took like an hour, you said. So as she waits, she's made a connection with this animal, clearly. And again, in a language none of you understand, because she's just talking in what would be Tabaxi language. She's soothing Veltrix and asking him to come back to her. Does the heartbeat seem to get any stronger as time passes?
How long are you gonna wait? I guess. Is there anything you're gonna do before? Does anyone want to do anything before I start fast forwarding time? I guess is the question.
Yeah, because she has no magic besides the radiant stuff she can do. She.
Wonder if Octavio.
What she does do is that she drops to her knees and starts praying to Lathander and Selene and the gods that she should be praying to, and praying that that Veltrix is brought back to her.
I'll go over to this. It looks like the griffin is being petrified, basically, or is it more like encased inside of a stone?
You can give an Arcana check if you want.
But as a sidebar thing, she, Sunny would certainly have explained what happened to Warren, and that it screamed at it, and then it just turned into stone, and it looks just the other ones they were animated, and they look just like Veltrix now. Yeah, this is Veltrix, and Stuart, you saw him. Does he still have flower feathers?
How much time has passed? Let me see here. Does he?
Yeah,
he definitely does.
I promise you. This is Veltrix. This is Veltrix. I can't. The big giant guy. These are his.
They don't look good. Perhaps be petrified. You should probably kill him now.
No. She looks at it. She looks very sharply at Warrendale and goes,
It's better to suffer.
Warrendale, please do not talk over me right now. You know that he wanted to stay with me and was torn when we left that castle. Right?
If you were turning into stone, I'd kill you. Just, friend to friend.
Because you're an asshole.
Save you the suffering, but don't take it from me.
And she goes back to soothing
the sheep
in a language you don't understand and ignores you cold.
It's time then.
You look over and you see the sheep bashing his head into the side of a tree over and over again.
Maybe you'll have to be here for an hour.
I love the fact that you made him so beautiful of himself, even as sheep moans is awesome. Sorry. Did he create enough damage to come out of sheep?
Yeah. After an hour of bashing his head in, Octavio poofs back in. He killed himself as a sheep, and just kind of sitting in the snow. And unless anybody wants to do anything, I'll fast forward.
Funny. I'm sorry.
So yeah, So in order for what happens is you kind of anxiously wait there, not giving up on Veltrax, and 3 hours pass, so it's nighttime now, and then finally you start to hear cracking, and then after a while Veltrax does break out of it. It wasn't a true petrification, although it was pretty strong, and Stuart's feathers eventually fall off too, or flowers. And his feathers return back as he looks very thankful. Veltrax and Stuart are still fine.
Okay. But Veltrex just took some damage as well.
Yep.
Can we say that we took a short rest in
Yeah,
that?
short rest would have makes sense. You've been sitting here for like 4 hours now, so
Yeah. So I'm gonna roll a couple dice.
Yep. And it's getting very cold at this point. Obviously, like you're still in the north, and it's wintertime, and it's nighttime now. So 4 hours has gone past, and if you guys don't start heading out soon, that might become an issue.
Okay.
I'll go over.
I'll leave it at that. That's 44 is fine. All right, and
So I'd go over to you, Sunlit, and Libby, just try and figure out what the hell you guys have been doing and why. What the hell happened.
Yeah, and she would explain and look at Livy and Octavius and go, "We just got here, and remember, a friend here said that she found other griffins and she knew where they were, and then they happened to be these guys. How weird.
Where are the other ones? There was, 5 of the things?
There was 4, and I think we destroyed the other 2.
Yeah, you kind of snap now out of it, thinking like in the heat of combat, you didn't really think about it, but now you look over and you see 2 like rubble piles of dead griffins, and Stuart is kind of just like over there, like nudging this one of the stone piles, hoping for his friend to return, but sadly, he is turned into rubble.
I suppose that's one for the books.
Yeah.
There was a tower around too, wasn't there?
Yeah, the tower is definitely around, and as you probably like ask, like, did you find anything in the tower? They didn't really have time to explore it.
Can we do that now?
Yeah, we'll say that you can do that. Everyone give me an investigation check as you're starting to go through it. You were kind of checking it, but you didn't really, like, you found Zephyros before you got really too into it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Livy was looking for books, and
yeah, I am very interested in Veltrex.
Yep.
I didn't see anything.
There you go.
Yeah.
Investigation.
What did Livy roll?
A 17 plus 3 for 20.
Beautiful. So yeah, you kind of like climb into the tower, and it's a bit disorienting at first because it's lying on its side. So you're looking around. You notice that the bookshelves have been completely picked clean. And you're looking around now, and it's dark, and you make your way into like the sleeping quarters of Zephyros, and you
don't go into the basement.
And you see a faint glowing. I remember. You see a faint glowing in the bedroom. You kind of approach it, and you find something. I guess not really small to you, but to the giant, it would have been small. So like a medium-sized sphere of thick glass. And at first, you kind of worry that it might be like another navigation orb, and you're like, oh, I don't really want to go through that again. But as you realize that that's not what it is, you approach, and you remember that Zephyros had a pretty weird flaw, and that was that he was afraid of the dark. So he had this little sphere that he called his own little nightlight. And what you see is Zephyros's nightlight, and you realize that this is a magic item. And essentially what it is, Livy, or actually, I guess, do you have Identify? I shouldn't really tell you what it is, but you've seen it work. I'll say that you've seen it work, that it creates a light source by sucking up other light sources, and then basically you can save the light source for later and then use it. So he used it as a little nightlight, and it has the ability to like take light sources and then use it later.
It's a deluminator.
Yeah, it's very similar to that for sure. Only it's a sphere. And right now you grab it and you just feel it, like a warmth of it, and you think back to like the very first time you discovered that Zephyros was afraid of the dark and that he needed this nightlight to fall asleep at night.
Okay.
And lastly, as you're the only one that rolled good, you find yourself in a big ass electrum comb encrusted with moonstones. And this is another thing that you remember him using quite a lot, and it is the griffin comb. He used it to comb his griffins. So it's this big giant size comb that he groomed his griffins with.
I just imagine Olivia like returning from the rubble, just comb here, this orby thing here,
Wait.
just like.
And the comb is like literally like arm size, so you're coming
I
out.
was about to say, like, how big is this comb?
What I found, guys.
Her arm, but if you think about comb with the teeth and whatnot, she could probably get her arm through one of the teeth and just like have this comb the size of her body, if not bigger, just coming out in this bowling ball in her under her other arm, just like, hey guys, I found these.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you guys could have missed it, but look what I found.
So I'm gonna add those to your inventory, and eventually, does the Oh yeah, this nightlight doesn't have attunement on it, so you'll just get it, and if you cast identify on it, you'll fully know how it works. If you don't, then you'll just.
I want those things in her inventory though. Like, I just don't see how she's gonna be able to carry those things around. She doesn't have a bag of holding. So.
Now, the light, I will say. It doesn't attune to you, but now that I know that it doesn't attune to you, now that you grab it, you can reshape it to be your size.
Okay. Woo.
The comb is not magical, so it's just a giant size comb. But you do know that if you were able to sell this, it's literally just pure like electrum and moonstone, so it would be worth a lot of money. But it's also just a big, awkward comb. And as you come out with it, you see that Stuart just kind of instantly glumps over to you and starts to like. Not purr, but like anxiously await its combing.
Comb me. Okay. She'd be happy to oblige that, but I'm not exactly sure how effective she will be. So she might look over at the others with her first few like awkward attempts. Like, can one of you like lend a hand? Like, I can climb up on top and we can like, like work as teamwork. Come on.
Does anyone want to help Livy comb Stuart in the freezing cold of night?
No, I want to get on this damn griffin and get the hell out of here.
Dale just glares at her.
Octavio says he'll help you.
Griffin is a friendly griffin. Just saying.
Yeah. Octavio says, I don't find it too cold out here. He has his shirt off and his nipples just have like icicles on them. And he's like, it's not so bad.
And he loves it. Every second of it.
I'm sorry, Dan. But anyways.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. Nonetheless, yeah, so if you really are obsessed with combing the griffin, Octavio will help you.
If everyone's showing no interest, she's not like you're like, another time, Stuart.
Yep. All right. So you jump on your griffins then, realizing that that's probably the quickest way back. Unfortunately, there's only 3 griffin, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you. So some people are going to be doubling up. Who wants to ride with who? Deshara says she has room. Veltrex. I'm assuming that Sunland's going to take Veltrex.
Yeah.
And
with us.
Yep, Stuart will let you ride him. Animal handling check for how well that goes. Bjorn Hilda is going to ride with just not even really asking. She has little trust of these creatures, so at first it takes a lot of persuading, but she unhappily jumps on the back of Veltrex with you since you are a great leader. Just like, all right, you're coming with me.
I am the leader of all the goodness in the world, apparently. So I mean, the two of us were now. Do I have to have an animal handling check? Because I do have a history with this animal.
Yeah, you just have a whole lot better luck. And before we get to you, Livy, now that you have showed the comb and are like not going to comb the creature, it's like being stubborn now. So it's not necessarily letting you. Warrendale, who do you want to go with? You see Livy struggling to get on Stuart. You see that Veltrex is already taken, and then Deshara says that she has a spot on Screecher, so it's up to you.
Oh, I'd go with Deshara because we're Griffin riding buddies now, so I'll hang on to her tightly and smile and wave to Livy. You can do it.
Moral of the story is it just takes a little bit longer for you and Octavios to get on Stuart, but eventually you're able to do so. You probably have to comb him after all. Like he's just like. You're not getting on him until he gets a good combing.
Okay, Davey, let's do this.
And then there's a montage of Octavius and Livy combing the griffin. Still picking out flowers that are kind of just like frozen to him, but
they're just frozen to it. So
nonetheless, go ahead and you can roll at advantage. I'll say, Sunlit.
Okay.
It'd be funny if you bombed it. Just saying. The narrative flow. No, there's a natural 1 in there, but 13. Yeah, you're able to. It doesn't. Veltrex doesn't like that you put this big ass barbarian woman also on its back, and Bjornhilda also doesn't like that it's on the back of the creature. So it's a little awkward at first, but the creature trusts you, and so does Bjornhilda. So you guys make off through the night. It's a bit cold, but you're able to make it back to Fire Shear, where
I do not have cold resistance anymore, right?
No, you do not like the weather anymore. And flying, although it's much quicker, is like even worse. And a matter of fact, everyone give me a con save. You guys were out here much too long.
Yeah.
Although you do have Yeti coats, so it's at advantage, actually, now that I think about it.
Okay.
Sweet. 17 or I'll take 17.
17's good.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, as long as you roll over 10, you're fine.
Yeah, I got it done. That's a 10,
right.
12.
All right, so yeah, you guys cold, but you make it back with quick, and luckily, since you have your Yeti coats on, the weather is at least bearable. You make it back to Fire Shear. It's nighttime now. You see faint fires actually glowing that kind of mark your travels back. When you approach, you see that the leadership of this town, Drava. Let me get up to the actual NPC list now. I kind of forget their names. Drava, Thrakis, and Zelron are kind of just waiting for you guys and asking what the hell took you so long.
Gargoyles.
And
Gargoyles, I thought you were going for griffins. How did you come across gargoyles?
We clearly got griffins. I think that Broomhilda would have jumped off the second that Veltrix hit the ground.
Yeah, I imagine it made feel like a sloppy landing too, because like she's like jumping off like borderline mid-flight still, like it's in the landing phase, and she's like, "I'm getting the hell off," and you're like, "What are you doing?" Get off, and it's kind of like,
wait.
And then there's like almost a fight between Veltrax and Bjornhilda, and you're just like, "Listen, you two, break this up."
Yeah. And you know, we haven't been able to make grains or anything for them yet, which I hope to be able to. But you know, and I just kind of calm down Veltrex and you know, my liege, apparently. And Veltrex, I would think that follows me at this point.
Yeah, it would follow you pretty closely. It's hungry, so you have to feed it. And it's probably obviously not going to follow you into like the tent that these people work out of. So it's kind of like sitting out back as you hear the cold wind kind of whipping. You tucked it in a stable with a warm fire, and Stuart and Veltrex are just devouring whatever food you offer them.
Absolutely.
Thanks, yes.
So Drava, Thrakis, and Zelron, the three people that run this city, they are basically they go into talks about how the weather is getting much colder than we anticipated much sooner. We're already on the last little bit of rations that we have, and with the 100, give or take, survivors, I don't know how long we'll be able to make it. Tell me, Dashara, will you be able to use these griffins and get to Luskin, or are we doomed? To which Dashara would step up and say, well, it's rather lucky that these people actually know these griffins. The whole task of breaking them and training them will probably be a whole lot quicker with them. It seems that they let them fly them pretty easily. To which we'll say that Thrakis will look at you and say, well, will you guys then take the griffins to Luskin and help us out? I hate to admit it, I hate to be weak, but without you, we're doomed.
Of course. We lost a lot there. Lost an old friend, and in his honor, I believe that we should help you.
Zelron, the human of Waterdeep, speaks up and says, I am sorry to make light of your friend's decease, or like the loss of your friend. We are obviously not understanding of what happened or the circumstances, but it seems like whatever bad has come from this, it is at least fortunate for us that you are here and that you found your old friend. Perhaps fate. And then, let's see. Drava will say that it should be with a trained griffin, or this would be Desara saying that we can probably make Luskin in 3 days if we are able to ride hard enough. To which then it will take around 6 days for a very good vessel to make travel back to Fireshear. So that's going to be cutting it really close. And then the question comes along of like, who are we going to even speak to? I don't really have anyone that I know in Fireshear. To which Drava would speak up and say that, what does she say? I have it over here. Ba-bum, ba-bum. I thought I had it over here, but maybe I lost it. She would say that she has a old friend in Luskin. This person owes me a favor or two, although I'm sure it will cost us, as favors in Luskin always do. If you guys go on our behalf, tell them that Drava will pay them back. Speak to Captain Benago Kurth. Seek him out in the City of Sails and tell him that I sent you. Tell them that we are desperate and that I need him and that I will make it worth his while if he does send help. You should be able to find him in the Cutlass Inn. Will you go on this endeavor for me? For us, for Fireshear? I know I'm asking you a lot, and I can tell that your souls are weary and that you wish nothing more than to rest and not have to deal with our problems. But if you do, being in the favor of our trivium will definitely help you. We'll pay you back.
Libby would be nodding her head, but she'd kind of look at the others too, like, why not?
And I'm assuming Octavius would also be all for trying to help. So then Sunlit, as he usually does, looks at Warrendale, who's not really standing with us as usual, probably, and just looks at Adam and goes, "We'll help them, won't we?"
I suppose. God knows you'd all probably die without me anyway.
Of course, as you always tell us. So, yes, I believe that we will. The elders. Do you think we may be able to get a night's rest before we leave?
Absolutely. It is far too cold to ride, and the griffins are tired. That is the least we could do, and we'll provide you with warm bed and food. Now, I will warn you that Benago, he is one of the most dangerous men on all of the seas. He has a fleet that rivals the greatest of any royal fleet in any of the cities. He is a great pirate, although he's an honorable man. As long as you are honorable and respectful.
Well, we should get along nicely then.
So then maybe Warrendale should stay here and help the village whilst we go ahead and go do this mission for you. And she
I'm the
gives you a
best talker of the
very,
group.
very sharp look as she says it.
I'm the friendliest of the bunch. Look at how I woo Bellador every day.
She has one of her kind of like helpers, like a hand or whatever. She whispers something to her ear, and this person goes over and starts writing on this writing out a letter, and you see Drava kind of like go over and start talking to them, and then the helper finishes writing the letter, hands it to Drava. Drava tucks it in a letter, goes over to her like kind of wax seal, and stamps it, and you see that she actually stamps it in melted silver, which quickly kind of hardens, and then she comes over and hands it to you guys, and you look and you see that there's this symbol of fire shear. It basically looks like this melted silver with a stamp that kind of has this glowing ember to it, and she hands it, and she says, "This is a sealed letter from the Triumvirate of Fire Shear. If you are ever in Waterdeep, Neverwinter, or Mirrorbar, seek out our businesses, and you will be taken care of. Show tell Benago that I have sent you. Show him this also. It should be proof that your word is true. And this letter will basically, you'll be taken care of if you're in any of our cities." And they would tell you that their businesses are, and let me get over to it. So if you're ever in Neverwinter, seek out the Silver Triangle, and you'll be taken care of if you show them this letter. Or if you find yourself in Waterdeep, seek out the Delvers of Broken Stone. Or if you're ever in Mirrorbar, seek out the Hammerhaven House. And if you just show them this letter, you guys will be VIPs, essentially.
I'm quite used to that myself. It'll be nice to get back into it.
So, is there anything else you wish to speak of us?
I would ask them what they may know about this band of wizards.
Band of wizards?
Anything. That stole the the guy that stole the talisman. And...
Oh.
You're
yeah. Naileron. So yeah, they if you were just to say like, do you know anything of Naileron, a wizard, they would have no clue what you're talking about unless you have like more specific things you're asking. They've never.
Yeah, what is the name of the group that he was with?
He told you. What did he tell you? He told you that he was. I'm trying to think. That he was part of the Waterdeep's masked council.
Yeah.
You, as you mentioned that, they would tell you that it makes no sense that someone of Waterdeep's masked council would be there, and would mention that if this man was lying to you in the first place, maybe he was lying about that.
Yeah. All right. Yes, we will certainly help you, and I think I'm gonna actually go sleep with Veltrex this evening.
Yeah. You actually start to feel quite sore, Sunlit, and you're kind of questioning it because, like, sure, that was a rough fight, but you didn't really take anything too bad, and you just kind of find yourself rubbing the back of your neck, and then you just feel like these scars or whatever. And as you're touching them, you realize that the marks on your back from whatever that wizard did to you has gotten a hell of a lot worse.
He would again show that to Octavius, and maybe talk to the elders here to see if they have anybody that has healing ability. To take a look at this. Is there any? I mean, even if we can just get it identified, would be great.
So Drava would say that she has dabbled in the arcane and kind of comes over to you, and it seems like something supernatural for sure. Not of she looks at it. It isn't a infection or virus or anything. This is definitely magical in nature. Now, it's a bit beyond my studies, but in Luskin is the host tower of the Arcane Brotherhood. And in that tower is 5 of the most powerful mages in Faerun. Now, they're not necessarily the most giving of people, but if anyone may be able to help you with this, it might be them, at least in this area. If you have time in Luskin, I would check out the Arcane Brotherhood.
What does it feel as if it's affecting her? Does it feel as if it's doing anything to her, per se?
So you know that when you sleep at night, you have very bad, unrested sleep. Like, it hasn't got to the point yet where you haven't been able to sleep, but you've been having some badass dreams. You constantly are waking up wet. And now that you mention it, there is a bit of like a soreness and kind of like a heaviness, almost like you know when you come out of the water and like your body just kind of like feels a little bit heavier or whatnot because you're like soaking wet. You just constantly feel like that.
And she hates to be wet anyways. So
yeah, so it's probably double the torture.
Yeah, she's not feeling well with it. Yeah, I mean, she would tuck herself away and invite Olivia because she might be the only one that would be excited to sleep with the Griffins. And she would take the comfort in lying next to Veltrex, trying to further the connection that she feels as if she has with this animal.
All right. Anybody else want to do anything in particular? Ask these people anything or before settling down? You'd be told that the Shara would be making plans to like take flight with the Griffins early, like at the break of dawn, and you're going to be flying for at least 3 days, pretty hard. They make what rations they can, but chances are she tells you that we're going to have to hunt with the Griffins for food, because obviously Fireshoe doesn't really have a whole lot of food to give you guys. But yeah, if nobody wants to do anything, then you do indeed go to sleep, and you wake up in the morning. Actually, this is an interesting predicament that just crosses my mind now. And you are setting up the Griffins. Luckily for you, Deshara has some saddles, and you guys are getting ready to go, packing up the stuff. And then suddenly behind you, you see Cyric, Belladora, Barrick, and Harshnag, and they're just like, "Oh, where are you guys going?"
To save the day.
Same thing we do every day.
So yeah, you tell them what your plans are, and unless you guys have alternative plans, the only thing that they can really think of is, unless you guys just want to like say, they're like, I guess we can just leave you guys alone if you want. But if you are interested in them following you, they will take Harshnag's boat and be several days behind you, but meet you in Luskin, unless you guys want to do something else. I'm assuming you wanted to keep them around with you, but obviously with 3 Griffins, that's going to be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, and she would also talk to her shadow, and do we feel as if maybe they could be helpful here?
I mean, Cyric probably could. He's a priest. You doubt
could go hunt for food, at least help a little bit.
Yeah, Barrick could. You doubt how much. I guess Bellador probably could help. So yeah.
Yeah, Brunhilde I think would be able to help as well.
Yeah, Brunhilde would be able to help. She would be super not keen on leaving you though. She would say that like it'll be a greater honor to hunt with you. I care not for these civilized folks squabbles. I'm in it for the hunt. I'm in it for you, Great Winter Tiger.
I fully understand that they're beyond Hilda, but do you want to fly in this Griffin for 3 days? 3 days.
Good point.
And then we're going to have to deal with some dealings, and then have to fly back.
Yeah, she now that you mention it, sounds pretty crappy to her.
And she goes, I promise that we're gonna have many hunts to go on, and you could use your skills of hunting here to help this village, and maybe help them gain some more sustenance.
Okay. Yeah. So interesting. So then your guys' plan is you want them to stay here and help, and then you guys are going to fly there and then fly back.
I can't see Harshnag flying on a griffin
Oh, yeah,
anyway.
Yeah, definitely not. Harshnag's plan would have been that he'll just take the boat and meet you guys there, but be several days behind. But if you want them to stay and you're coming back to Fireshare, then that's absolutely fine.
I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's pointless
Corey
to have
got
them follow up the ship all the way down just to run a couple.
yeah, I mean, yeah. By the time they get there, we'll be already 2 days coming back. You know what I mean? So like, it just doesn't sound like it makes a lot of sense logistically. So
Yeah. I didn't know that you guys were planning to come back. That works for me though. Absolutely. So then that will be the plan. They will stay and help, and you will, I guess, will be 6 days gone. The best. So you they do that, and they stay and help, and they will do what they can to help these people. You take flight with the Griffins, animal handling checks to see how that goes for whoever wants to be the riders. So Dashara will take anyone that wants to go, and then there's Stuart and Veltrex.
Warren will hop on with her real fast.
I got 17 plus 5. That's 22.
Nice. Sunlit, you are making an advantage because you are homies with the Veltrex.
Oops. Hold on. Stop. Don't do whatever you think you're doing here. Because there's a cool button that we can make to do it for me.
There's a button for that.
Oh, an 11.
11. Well, apparently Veltrex is not a morning griffin because she's a little bit grumpy.
He.
Yeah, he. I don't know why I'm just obsessed with calling Veltrex a she, but he's definitely a he. So yeah, with that, you take off and you begin to fly, and you're following the coastline southeast, making as much haste as the griffins will endure. You fly like basically for 8 hours. You take a break. You go out and hunt. You rest up and you fly again, and then you rest for the night. And Sunlit, we'll say the first night. Do you want to explain a nightmare you have, obviously keeping the theme that we have, or do you want me to tell you what happens?
Yeah, no, I can do it. She finds herself again. She knew that Veltrex was special to her for some reason, so she huddles up with him quite handily every evening, and she's having her evening nightmares. It seems to be happening every day, and it gets worse and worse every night. This evening, actually, she starts out in the water. Usually, she's not been in the water at the start of these dreams, but today she's in the water. And to long story short, it never gets to the surface again in this one, but for some reason doesn't drown.
Yep. And you wake up again, and same kind of thing. This time you're like soaking wet, and as you wake up in your like sleeping bag or whatever, it's literally like drenched, and you're coughing, and you feel like you're not able to breathe. And you feel like you got no rest whatsoever, but you still did get your long rest. But just a very unsettling sleep, and you're just wondering what the hell is going on with you, and your back is throbbing like it is almost unbearable, the pain that it's caused you. Like something must be going on, you think, when you wake in the morning. You're keeled over in pain, and you're grabbing on, and you literally like can't move.
Does she feel these barnacles that others have said they've seen?
I will say when you wake up this morning, you have 3 of them on you.
You'll say, if I seen her down like that, or in pain, I'd go take a look to see if they're growing on her or something.
Yeah, so you give me a perception check, anyone that's checking her out. It's just you two and
Sit
Bashara.
still, kitty. I'm gonna look you over. Oh, perception skill. All I see is fur. I'm gonna have to shave you.
And
You will not be saving me, Octavia. I mean, Wanda.
is Livy checking her out or not bothering? That looks like a negative. You're muted or something, but
Am I muted?
yeah, I didn't hear you.
No.
Okay. I just made sound.
All right, so yeah, you just see the 3 seashells and you tear them off, Warrendale, and it just does cause pain. But once you tear them off, the pain kind of subsides a bit, and you're getting ready to fly. Sunlight, you're kind of trying to tough through it. You know that you're on a schedule here, so you don't want people like thinking that you're weak and slowing them down. So you ready yourself, and you're rubbing the back of your neck, Sunlight, and you swear that. How do I describe this? Your skin moves where you feel, basically. Like you're rubbing it, and you just swear that you feel like something, I guess, crawling under your skin.
Yeah. Yeah. She is really taken to, in the mornings, she's not going to mutilate herself, but praying at the same time that that Octavius does, to the god and goddesses that she has been told she's supposed to by what's his name? I have here. Father Henrik. But very specifically praying for healing for herself from this.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you pray to Lathander, and whatever you jump on your griffin, and you guys are riding again, and to your northeast, you can see the Cloudland Vale in the distance, a troubling place for some, but as you keep to the coastline, you feel like you're keeping your max distance that you can from it, although you know that you're still definitely walking the line of this territory. I'll say that day 2 quickly passes by without issue. You're able to find your food and whatever. And Sunlit, this day you do not have a bad dream. And you, whose mic am I picking up right now? I'm confused. Real chill. You wake up not having a dream, but still not feeling any more rested, and you this time have 4 more of those seashells that need to be ripped off, and they're causing you quite a bit of pain every morning. The 3rd day approaches, and you can see Luskin in the distance. And as you're approaching, it looks like a absolutely beautiful city of sails, and it looks very nice. But the closer you get, the more you realize that it's not quite the nice city that it looks like from far away. And you'll have to rest again. And on your 3rd night rest, Sunlit, you have an absolutely horrible dream. You wake up in the middle of the night, and again, you're completely in water. Only as you're looking around, the whole world itself is water. So like you're laying in your bed where you currently are, but your bed is like undersea, and you just quickly try to swim over to your friends, and you see that they have drowned. You see Warrendale just completely bloated and looking sickly. You realize that your breath is short, and you try to look around, and you see the light of the surface way above, and you go to swim up, but you're instantly grabbed and pulled down. And what you see is that your body is completely covered in these like massive tentacles that are wrapping you around and choking you and pulling you down to the surface. And it's when you wake up on the 3rd day that you realize that you did not get any benefits of a long rest.
Have I taken any points of exhaustion?
Not yet.
Okay.
But on the third day now, with no longer long rest happening, you're going to be facing the issues of exhaustion for sure.
Wonderful.
But
Thanks.
Luskin is now very close. And like I said, a beautiful looking city from the distance. You quickly start to see that that is more of a facade. And as you approach clearer and clearer, you realize that it is a massive city, but it is absolutely filthy. It just has like a layer of sludge and dirt over it. You see the dock district that is completely filled with ships. Just these massive ships, almost like you there's so many of them that you wonder how any of them can actually like even sail around in the coastline. It's just sails upon sails, ships like connected to ships, and every like open bit of water is covered by a ship. You realize now why it's called the City of Sails, as you see that its dock district is just completely like traffic jammed with boats. You see a large leafless tree that stretches out high above in the center of the city. As you're approaching, it's this walled settlement. And at first, it's kind of weird that there's this massive tree that's like leafless. It's dead, but you realize as you approach that it's actually a building. And as you get it to fully see it, you see that it's this large like a shaft that's made of this kind of reddish auburn color, and it reaches up into the sky and pokes out in 4 different directions. That very much resembles a tree, but it is very clear that the building itself is arcane in nature. It's free-flowing kind of architecture, lets you know that it clearly could not be constructed by any normal like means. It is clearly made by some kind of magical ritual of some kind. A very impressive building. You make your way into Luskin. The city guard at the kind of front gates don't really give you much of an issue when Dashara says that you're from Fireshare and you've been sent here by Java. What do you guys do when you get into the city? You see that it's a bustling place. There's many kind of tight alleyways and people busy selling wares, going along with their life. It's yeah.
So like there's a market.
Yes,
Stuart,
definitely.
come on, let's go. Or let's comb.
So you've carried this comb the entire time, and your Griffin probably hates you for it because it's. Just...
Don't worry, Stuart. What we're gonna do? We're gonna shrink it. Okay, we're gonna make it. I will be the one who carries it.
Yeah. So the only way you were able to coax him into carrying the comb with you is by giving him nightly combing, which you've definitely followed up with. But yeah, you walk into the marketplace and there's like merchants busy like selling and haggling and with people, and there's deals going off, and you're just this big, massive like arm-sized comb. Like, all right, who wants this? Nobody speaks up in the marketplace. So
okay, but you said like it's a type of material. I guess either I can have her roll an intelligence check to see if maybe she recognized the type of material, or I see if she could find someone who'd be like, "Would you at least appraise this for me?"
Yeah. So we're gonna do some kind of skill check here to see if you can find someone to sell this for you. I'm just trying to think of what kind of check I want you to do. Probably an investigation to find someone interested in buying it.
Go! And do I use inspiration or not, Mary? Think. No. There's more important things.
Let me help you. We had my run around for the merchants many times.
Yeah.
Basically,
the what's happening is you're trying to sell it, and they're like, yeah, this is a very impressive, like definitely worth a lot of money comb, but what the fuck am I gonna do with a comb that is like arm size? There's really like no smelters or anything that you found, so like they're not doubting that it's like good quality.
A craftsman that who might be able to
Yes, let's see what Warrendale rolls and see if he can help out.
Oh, I never did. I thought I took investigation. I'm probably not very good.
Oh!
No, what you should do is you talk to the person over
Warrendale's
here.
like, yeah, he
Now
takes you down.
Holmes.
Warren, come on. We can get more pancake materials.
He takes you into like the shadiest alley of Luskin, and already as you're walking down the streets, you clearly see that even in like the marketplace, this is a very rough and kind of tumble crowd. People look like they will fight you at any given moment, and as you Warren does like, I know exactly where we need to go. We have this is where you're gonna get the good deals. You're like taken from a rough neighborhood to like literally you feel like you're insulting people just with your presence, and you find like this shady little merchant that's like in this like rotted kind of what's it, like why can't I think of this word, tent, and Warren does like this guy will give us a good deal, and you kind of approach and he's just like, what do you want? Interested in my wares?
Comb here, you should buy it.
He pulls back the cloak that he's wearing, and you see that his head is completely bald and badly scarred.
Not necessarily for you. This is clearly a comb that you would sell to customers who have great bushy manes that really need to be tamed.
Like a dwarf. Don't you know any dwarves? I'm sure you know some dwarves.
Let me see the comb.
She just kind of bounces.
Like you see it, she's holding the damn thing.
It's kind of hard to miss, to be honest.
That is the comb you wish to sell me?
Or if you think about it, it could be a very decorative kind of window with bars or something. Or
Go above your mantle in your fireplace.
He looks at it. Get it to me. Get it to me now. Let me see. And he takes it and he kind of he sniffs it for some reason and like runs his nose along it.
I imagine him licking it.
Yeah. gives like the tip of one of the combs a little lick. Oh yes. Perhaps I could sell this. I'll give you 10 gold.
I'm gonna do an insight. Yeah, she kind of also looks over at Warrendale. Ooh, 23.
Clearly a wonderful deal.
10 gold is a wonderful deal indeed.
And that's what her stomach is saying too.
Her stomach is saying, man, the only thing that's making me feel more unsettled about this deal is the awful smell coming from this merchant's tent.
10 gold it is.
10 gold? You're taking the 10 gold? My God. Perfect. All right.
Hell of a deal, I got you, Liffy.
What? I'm sorry. Corey's got interjected. Really?
Don't listen to the weird guy over there. This is a hell of a deal.
When Sunlit says that, he says, what, little kitty? Do you want me to comb you one last time?
Dwarf, if you touch me, it'll be the last thing you ever
Dwarf!
touch in your whole life.
I'm not a dwarf. How dare you? He stands up, and he's just a really short human being.
Well, little man, I don't care if you're a dwarf or a human or whatever.
I don't like your cat. 5 gold.
We don't like her either.
I am not.
What if she comes with it? We would sell her
That
too.
thing is worth 100. You are technically getting a deal.
I'm not. You are getting the deal. 5 gold. Your cat is very
10 gold.
10 gold and we sell the cat too.
I will skin it. Make a good soup of it.
Like I said, that comb is worth at least 100, but I am feeling generous.
Oh, yes. Your generosity perceives you. 10 gold, then. Yes, be gone. Take your stinking animal away. Just like shoos you. You take 10 gold? All right, sell the comb for 10 gold.
Now, to find a legitimate, reputable wizard to identify this.
I know just the person, Livy. Come, follow me, follow me.
Nope. We are going over to. Is there like any academy?
Yeah, we were told that we could go to an academy that has the smartest wizards, the 5 smartest wizards in all of Faerun.
Those smarty pant wizards always think they know everything. Trust me, Livy. I know a guy.
So
Hey,
Yes,
hey, Warren. What I'm going to tell you is this. Whilst we're there,
This next one.
yeah. Beautiful.
pardon me. So yeah, there is the Arcane Brotherhood, which is that big tree, like that big arcane-looking building that looks like a tree but clearly isn't a tree. It's called the Arcane Brotherhood, and the tower itself is called the Hoss Tower. And yeah, there is 5 powerful mages that run it. You'll learn from the talk of the street that Cashin the Red is an archmage who is like the head wizard and a very powerful human being. And then he has underneath of him 4 other over wizards, they're called, and each protects a direction of the compass. So there's one called Zelena the White, over wizard of the West. And as you look at the tree, which the tree tower that you can see from anywhere in the city, you see that like the branches that spout off point in each direction, and then the centerpiece is this big kind of oval in the center. And people would tell you that each wizard, they don't really get along, but they all respect the archmage. And you guys would know that an archmage is like an incredibly powerful wizard anyways. And each other wizard kind of sits in their own like separate branch and has a role of society. So like the West Wizard that looks over into the docks role is to kind of like oversee the dock district and all that kind of stuff. You guys want to head to the Arcane Brotherhood?
Yes. But can we do that next time? Because I'm getting very tired.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's just say that you
And on the best note of selling a comb. Yes.
exciting. Not where I pictured it going. So let's at least let's end it where I plan to end it. So you will head to a tavern. You can't find the Cutlass Inn. Basically, what you are told is that the Cutlass is in the dock district, and as you are heading like more and more into the city, it gets like more and more rough, and you literally like see people like robbing others, and just kind of like tell yourself like maybe we're tired, we're gonna go for a rest and a normal inn. So you basically purchase one of the more upper echelon inns, I guess. Using your letter from Java, you don't really have to pay anything. She would tell you that this was a good place to stay. And so sleep comes for you, and let me get to where I need to get.
I bet it doesn't come for Sunny.
Yeah, you have a very hard time falling asleep. That's actually where we'll take it up. Sunlight, you literally have begun to dread sleep because you know that when you shut your eyes, the darkness that overcomes you is the darkness of the depths of the sea that seem to want to swallow you every night. And it's gotten to a point where you have just like, if you don't go to sleep, you'll feel better than actually sleeping. But
she does not this eve. She stays up and she prays the entire evening, of which I will absolutely take it to the point of exhaustion, with the thought that she's gonna be able to talk to these mages and maybe they will know something in the morning.
Yeah. And it's at that point that you hear a drip. That's not a dripping noise. I couldn't do it. Someone, yeah, there it is. You're sitting in your inn. You're in the tavern, or you're in the room, and I'll say that basically everyone's got a bed in the same room, and you hear a drip in the middle of the floor, which makes no sense. Like the room's completely dry. You what do you do?
And I'm the only one that hears this, right?
You look around, and it doesn't seem like your friends have noticed. They're sleeping. Another drip goes off.
Yeah. If she looks up at the ceiling, does she see where it looks as if it's falling to?
Give me a perception.
Mm-hmm. 15.
15. You are confident that there is no water on the ceiling.
And there's also no water on the floor.
As you go to like step, you're filled with the sensation of water all around your feet. You look now and see that ankle high, the entire inn has been like flooded.
She looks outside the window to see if it's raining.
You look
If
outside
there's
the
water.
window and you are in the middle of the ocean.
Wonderful.
As far as you can see, you hear a drip behind you again. This time, it seems to be coming from the bed of Warrendale. You see, as you look at Warrendale's bed, you can't see him in the bed. You just see like a lump in the sheets. But from the sheets, water is like flowing out from his blanket, like almost like a waterfall, like you, or like a statuette of like a waterfall fountain.
Mhm.
And the sheets itself are like water is dripping or draining from underneath them at a rapid pace, kind of like flooding the room. It's not like endangering you of drowning, but you just see like an immense amount of water coming from his bed. You look over, the same for Livy. You look over, the same for Octavius.
And the other woman. I'm assuming she's still with us.
Yep. You
And
guys.
there's an open cot for her to lay on.
Yep. And you just kind of call out like, guys, the place is flooding. Like, wake up.
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
answers.
She pinches her skin. Does she feel pain?
Yes.
So she feels as if she's not dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
She reaches under the back of her neck.
And it's at that point that you feel something on the back of your neck. It's wet, soaking wet, almost kind of sticky. And as you grab it, it withers around your arm and starts to crawl up the side of it and meets you in the face. This snake-like creature. I'm just going to show you a picture, actually. Should show up on your screen.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes swirling around your wrist, completely meeting you face to face. And you're just stuck there. You can't move. You try to pinch yourself again to wake up. Clearly, this is a dream. You pinch yourself, but you just feel a sensation of pain. This thing is crawling out of the back of your neck and your skin, and now has like completely like wrapped itself around you. You feel like the sensation of like what's it called? Tentacles, like the suction cups of tentacles around your entire neck and body and around your arm. And as you see the creature kind of lift up and start to crawl, it leaves that suction mark, and you realize that the mark on the back of your neck this entire time has been like tentacle suction marks on you. And this creature is crawling up and looking you in the face, and its mouth starts to droop open, and it's just filled with slime and water. And it says to you, Slar Crithel, my master, has come to claim you for the deep. And lifting out of the bed where Livy and Warren are sleeping are these, I guess, humanoid-like creatures, but their skin are completely blue and gray. And as you lift up, they have no hair. They're completely bald, almost like scales of fish for skin. And their head, instead of hair, they have these two long, thick tentacles that like drape down almost like where hair would be. But instead of hair, they have like these two tentacles. They're not mind flayers, because that's kind of what I'm describing, but they're definitely not. And they're shirtless, and they have these two daggers, and they kind of like rise up almost at the same time. And this creature just has you completely grappled, and it comes, and they repeat again, Slar Crithel, Our master has come to claim you to the deep. And that's where we'll end it for tonight.
Yeah, and she's stuttering. The only thing that she gets out is why me.
Yeah. And they start to walk around you, and as you do, you feel the water starting to like drain up, and now it's about almost knee high. And that is where we'll end it for tonight. All right. Anyways, that is it for tonight, guys. We will schedule again. Hopefully get a game going. Hopefully our other member will show up and I won't have to make him turn into a sheep and bash his head against the tree. Anyways, fun game, guys. And until next time, catch you around.
Cheers.